All right, good. So now you have to go to your phone entity and do a one-to-many. Like this. I sent it to you in chat if you want to take a look. Keep it as a list.
Okay.
And map by, that's the phone, that's the entity you made in your record entity. So whatever you named it there is what the mapped by is here.
Record.
What was the name of it?
Phone ID?
No, the name, phone entity is the name of what you put in the record entity. So phone entity is what it's mapped by.
Entity.
And then you need to do list record entity.
Yeah.
And rename it to whatever you want. Okay, there we go. Now let's go to your, there we go. See, looks pretty. Let's go to your record entity and make another many-to one for student.
Entity.
Okay, and then the join column is going to be
Student.
okay. Yep, student entity. Whoa. All right. All right, let's go to your student table, student entity.
Let's do this.
All right, so mapped by is going to be the entity you created in your record. So I think it was student entity or something like that.
Yeah, should be that.
List is going to be, yeah, record entity. Yep. And record entities, that should work. All right, your relationships are there. Everything seems to be working okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, now
We're glad.
save it and we'll see. Let us know if you have any problems with your delete statements or anything like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
because when I did it before with the movies, I had this, but it still didn't work, and I did the same thing.
huh. Maybe it's just my touch.
Well, okay.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, all right. Let's see. Did you have a chance to look up anything on JUnit?
Yeah.
Sweet.
So I'll share my screen.
Okay.
Here's my double. Okay, first, no, that's not the right. So before you do anything, you create your project, and you have to do your JUnit for whatever you want. So in this case, I chose to do that for my patient bin to make sure it works fine. So you have whatever you want to do that for. And before you start doing that, you have to import something that is called JUnit4. So if you do a Google search, I'll share my screen here. So you could download it from here. It's a jar file, or you can get it from here because you go to the libraries here, where was that? Where did I find? So fun usages, not it. So you see,
download it from Maven?
I think so, but you have a Hamcrest core and then Hamcrest library and then JUnit 4.11. So you need those three.
Okay.
And you could find it here if you download here, or probably in Maven also. And yeah, because I downloaded and I renamed it JUnit generator because that's gonna generate your JUnit. So when to generate that, you go to your file that you're gonna do the test. So in this case, it's my patient bin. So you right-click the file and click on generate, and then JUnit test, and then choose whatever you downloaded. In this case, is the JUnit 4, and it will create this. Not exactly like this, but it will create your basic template for JUnit. So if you do a Google search on JUnit, you see that there are so many methods to choose. You have to play with which ones you want. The basic ones are like, in this case, was, let's see,
Field.
no, there's this, oh, this, let me see. I'll explain what this means first. So you need to have a before and after methods, and the before class and after class methods, and should be empty before anything else, or nothing will work. And you have to have these annotations too for that. So my first test, which is this annotation. So I want to test if it will get the name from my patient bin. And in this case, I create a patient bin, put everything that I have exactly the same structure from my patient bin. And then put a field variable and set it to null. And in your catch and try, so your name field should be equals to the class of your bin. In this case, this is my bin. So get declare field and put a name. So it will store the string from the field. And then you have to temporarily set the variable to public because then it's not accessible. So you put it, make it accessible, set accessible, and make it true. And then I create a variable and set it to null. So if your variable, in this case, this, which is null, is equal to the name field, so this one, and use the get method and pass my patient bin here. So we'll see if it's equal or not. If it's not equal, you will see so many errors. So now, this is the method that I was talking about, assert not null, and pass this one, the string. So we'll check if the name is null. If it's not null, it will pass. It's just a pass or fail. That's all you do with JUnit. So if it didn't pass, you will see an error that it did not pass the test. So this is another one, assert equals. So if this, what I chose, this name is equal to the name from the actual bin, if it's equal, it will pass, and if they're not equal, it will fail. And this one is the same thing, but this is the actual method, the assert false. if the name equals this name, which is weird because that shouldn't be the right way to name it or type it. So make sure it fits right or not, and it will check return true or false, or just, I mean, not return but pass or fail. And this other method asserts true if this is not equal to that. So it will make sure if it's not equal to that, and it will pass because it is true in this case. So I have it here on my, and it's exactly the same. So yeah. So then assert not same, that's another method. So since this is not the same because it doesn't have the dashes, it will fail. So I have another assert no. So assert true, yeah. So there's like almost the same thing, but you could do a lot of things from each thing that you want to test. There are other ones that I did not use because I didn't need to do that. So right here, the last two ones are different because you have to throw and test the exception, because Brother Larson will tell you to test one of your exceptions or just make one. So I created two variables here, and this is not the same, but it looks the same. It's spelled different. So if this is equal to that, and do a fail, call the fail method, and return whatever message, because it will has to fail, or you can make it not fail, but this one fails. So and then the other last one after I tested an array. So I created an array list, I mean an array of numbers and another array, but they're not the same. Is it the same? Yes, they're the same. So I call the assert array equals. That's another method you can do to test arrays. So you put one your name, the name of your array, and the other name, and it will try and look for if it's exactly the same thing, and it will pass because they're exactly the same. And that's all you need to do. So when you run the file, it will say pass or fail. That's it. Take a long time. It failed, and it will tell you where it failed. So let's go here. This is where it failed.
Mm-hmm.
But this is actually right. That doesn't mean you did it wrong, because this is supposed to fail as a fail method. And if you delete it or comment this, it will say pass, and you have this one green because you don't have anything that did not fail. So we'll make sure it does it, just to show you. And run it again. It passed.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing that fails.
Right.
So you have any questions?
No.
No?
You did a miracle. I'm glad that you had time to finish with unit test.
Yeah. I was frustrated with Hibernate all week.
I know.
I can only imagine.
All day long, every single day.
Yes.
If it's okay with you guys, I actually finished my UML stuff. Can I show that real quick?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, let's see here. So let me share my screen. Okay, so UML diagrams are a way of showing how the application works, pretty much, and what steps can or should be taken. So I just made one for a pet manager app, where this is the scope of the application, the box. And then each thing in here are kind of events or things that the pet owner can do. Now I notice the pet owner is outside of the scope of the application because the pet owner is the one interacting with the application. So pretty much the first thing you have to do in this application is add a pet. Dog, cat, bird, snake, whatever. You add a pet, and then you have other things you can do, like update the pet information, which will include the name, birth date, things like that. You have an option to log vaccinations, so when there's shots they've had in the past, shots they're going to have in the future, their weight, so you can keep track of their weight, and then their veterinarian info if you ever need to contact the vet. Pretty simple application. I sent a copy off to Brother Larson to see what he thinks and what he says, if I'm on the right track or not. The second thing is, where is it? I don't know, where is it? Oh, I'll have to pull it up. Is my drive. Yeah, so the use case diagram, that was it. The use case document, from what I understand, is pretty much just a use case diagram, just in text. So you pretty much write it out instead of draw it out. So yeah. I wrote it out. Pet Man lets owners add their pets, manage their information such as vaccines, weight, trends, and personal pet information. The actors included is just the pet owner, the only one that'll use the app. The main flow, pet first before you can do any of these things here. Oops, don't want to do that. Meaning add pet information, log vet visits or whatever. You can't do that without a pet. Talked about priority. So of all the use cases, how important is this one? Well, there's only really one use case, and so this is the most important one. Status, outlining the app functionality. Pretty much, is the app, how close is the app to being built? What's the status of it? And it's just, I'm just outlining the app. It'll never be built, according to what the rubric says. Now, pre and post conditions. Preconditions are things that the user has to complete before interacting with the application. So I just put that the pet owner has to download it. Post conditions are things that the owner must have achieved after the application or use case diagram is complete. And the only thing that the pet or the owner has to have done is add a pet. They don't have to add any information, just add a pet is the only required thing they have to have done.
But I would just change something there.
Okay.
Your precondition.
Okay.
So when you open an app, it will load. So that's your precondition in this case. Load the app. That's what the user does. Open the app and load it. Opening the app. Because the downloading is not really part of that.
Go to the application. Boom.
Yeah.
And extension points are, I guess, other use cases that may be involved that this may be dependent upon. Use cases or things. Maybe you have to complete other use cases before this one's applicable. Had a use case for adding a vet and I don't know, adding a veterinarian a used use case would be adding a pet, because that comes before adding a veterinarian. Anywho, it's pretty much, use case documents are pretty much just a UML diagram in text format.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much it.
Good for you.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yep. So yeah, that being said, is there anything else anyone needs to share today?
So where did you get that template from?
I found it on a YouTube video.
Yeah, it looks almost the same thing that I had before.
Yeah. I Googled use case documents, but I couldn't find anything. So I Googled the video and I found it.
There should be all the same.
Yeah. So,
I will share my Hibernate today.
oh,
The second part.
Alrighty.
Because
The time is yours.
you remember that, yeah, I will share my screen. So, do you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So,
Okay.
yeah. So before I had just my entities, and I set the relationship for them. So in my author and book entity, I have one too many, and in my book author entity, many to one and many to one. And in my Hibernate main class, I have the main method, and on the beginning, I'm creating the entity manager factory, and through scanner, and user can interact with the program. Here I'm setting the comment so that the end user can use the number for accessing my database. So if he will, for example, type 1, he will see, he can look at the list of books. Here's my switch statement for looping. So if end user will choose one of the cases, it will call the method, and if he will or she will use 0, so the program will finish it. In my list books, list of authors and list author and books are pretty the same. At the beginning, I'm always creating the entity manager and begin the transaction and always close the transaction. So, for example, if we are talking about the list books, first he will or she will see a message, and then here I'm creating the list of book entity, and query database returns a list of all books. And then the end user will see the message of the, how to say, the columns what I have in my database, and with the for loop, he or she will see the actual information sorry, from the database, will not talk about the list authors and list of author and books because it is pretty the same. Adding books. So it is pretty the same what I have for at Arthur, a little bit different what I have for Arthur and books. So as I told you before, all my sessions are starting with creating the entity manager and the beginning transaction, and I always close that transaction. I have 2 messages, so the end user will know what he or she needs to do. They need to type the information in this format. Here I'm it takes input from end user and a string and split it in each space. Then I'm actually creating the object of a new book, and I'm setting the attributes. So the it is the array, as you see. So the end user will type the book key ISBN, the book title, the publisher, and the book here for the book key ISBN, and for book here it is the integer, and for the title and the publisher in a string format. Then I'm adding the persistent context. Method flash is clears any object from here, and then the commit it's commit the changes from the database, and then if everything is okay, the end user will see that message that his or her book was successfully added. It is the similar from the author, as you see. I the add author to book. I'm using a comment because I don't know why, but it doesn't work for me. I'll show you later. I looked through the code many times, but I don't know why it doesn't want to work. About that, removing book, it is kind of the same for the removing author, and remove author from book. So I told you before about the entity manager and the transaction. So here I'm creating a list of books from query. The end user will see the message, and then I'm set the counter. So then for each loop, looping for book entity, and we'll show every single book what I have in my database with the all information. Then end user, he or she needs to decide which number from the list they want to delete. And then first we need to delete the foreign key, and then we can actually delete the actual book. Here I'm execute updates to the table and make changes and commit, and if successful, the end user will see the message. And similar for removing Arthur. And where is it? Similar for the Arthur from the book. Here is my nesty path. So as you know, it's really important to work on foreign keys. It is actually what I had. We need pretty sure to know about the names. So like look through the names. So the database and the classes, they are in a good shape. The setup, it's pretty important to go through every single step, like database, include our tables, make connection, set the persistence. Sometimes if we are not, we forget, for example, to run the exam, we can have the connection issues and the table relationship issues we can have actually if we didn't set the, for example, one to many and many to one relationship. First, I'll show you how it works. And then if we will have time, I can show you the case number 6 that it doesn't work, and maybe you will have some ideas that will work. So I'll show the list of books. You can see all of them. I have just 2 books. Here's my list of authors. It's them. Here is the list of authors and their books. If I want to add a book, I need to set up the ISBN. I will simply type something. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The title, for example, will be title. And then publisher, some publisher, and the book year is, could be, for example, 2016. So it shows that the book was successfully edited, and if we will check, so we can see that it has new book over here. If I want to add an author, I need to set author key, then the first name, then the last name, and shows that the author was successfully added. And if I will go to the list of authors, you can see that I have the new author. I will skip step 6 and then we'll go. So, for example, if I want to remove a book, I can type 0. And it shows that it was successfully deleted. And it was a book, I think so. Yeah, it was a book. And if we'll double check, we can see that we don't have no more that book. And for example, if I want to remove an author, tap 0, double check, and I have no more. And if I will type 9, it will be the same as the book and author, and I just need to type a number and it will delete my actual or this or that. And I will exit for a moment and show you what I have for number 6. Comment, and that's my race. So here is my code. As usual, the creating the entity manager, the begin transaction, the message. Here I'm creating a list of author entity. I'm creating a counter. I'm looping through the author entity, getting input from the end user, then creating the author entity object and assign to that object that the input what I received from the end user. Then I'm creating the list of book entity. Same has have the message without the counter to 0 again, and looping through the book entity. And, the end user will type the number for the book, creating the object for book entity, assigning that object to the input information. Then I'm creating the object for book author entity. When I was working on that step, I thought maybe the reason why it doesn't work, maybe it is it depends on ID. So I decided to work on that step. For right now, I just comment out it, and then I'm assigning for the object of book author entity the information what I have collected for the author entity and for the book entity, and then I'm adding the persistence context clears any object from create commit, and if it's right, the end user will see the message, but suddenly, sadly, it doesn't work, so the end user will not see. And if I will run the number 6 to show an error. So here's the 6, for example. Let's first, sorry, I will stop it, because all my books are they have already author's key, and so first we need to add a book and then the author, and then we can add the author to a book. So first I will title, quick setup, publisher year, and then 5. Then if we will go, we can see that we have that author. So I will type 0. I can select a book, And as you see, it has an error. It shows that the book key ISBN specified twice, but I don't know why. The errors what I have. System exception. And I cannot get. I was working on that maybe 2 or 3 days, and it's still the same errors. So maybe you have any IDs. Are you here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe I'm just talking to myself. Who knows? So maybe do you have some questions on my Hibernate main, or maybe some ideas? Is it clear, my explanation?
Yeah, can I see that method?
The 6?
Yeah.
Let me know if I need to scroll down.
You scroll down.
Okay.
Can you scroll down more?
Mm-hmm.
Could you
Scroll down.
put your
Mhm.
mouse over a new book entity? That method over
Here?
there. No, the book entity, then put
Here?
the create. Yeah. Mm,
More?
no. That. What does that mean? It's redundant.
Uh-huh.
Book entity, book auth. You could just instead of going equals new book entity, you could just put the colon there.
It's
And
over
then
here.
because you're assigning it there, you're assigning it twice is what it's thinking. Book entity, book auth equals new book entity. Okay, it's creating a new book entity, but then you're assigning it a book entity below. That's why it's saying that the new book entity is redundant.
Yeah. So delete the equals new book entity and just do a semicolon. No.
You could do that.
Like
It's
this?
not met. Other one.
Here?
Here.
The one above.
This?
No.
No.
Book entity equals book auth equals new book entity. Delete the equals new book entity at the top. Keep going up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That.
Delete it?
No.
Just
Delete
no.
equals new book entity.
Equals new. Ah, okay. I see. Like that.
Yeah. And run it.
And the same as I understand for the Arthur entity.
Possibly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There. It's not going to throw an error. I mean, it's fine. It's just redundant code. So.
So I will try to run. And we'll see what it will happen. Oh.
He's a little cranky.
specify twice again.
Mhm. I don't know why.
If you have two variables that are named the same, that could be why.
But they are different. They supposed to be different. I was trying to specify them differently.
Scroll down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the only error you get?
Yeah. Everything works perfectly, just that one.
It may be your tables having the same book key ISBN name for their columns. That may be it.
I have that key ISBN for
Now
the
go to your book author entity.
primary author entity. We have just the book author entity.
See,
Yeah.
okay, now go to your
Book entity?
book key ISBN. That's weird that you only have it in one place there. Go to your database on the right-hand side.
The
No, just on the right-hand side of your window.
okay. Okay.
Database. Look at your tables. Okay. Sawyer, calm down. Sorry, guys. 1 second.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But that shouldn't be the problem. It's probably you're assigning variables somewhere in your code. Maybe.
But I'm stuck on that point. I just need a new view.
Could you just upload your code to GitHub? And
Yeah, it's over there.
okay.
Okay, I think the problem is you have book key ISBN as your primary key in the book,
Yeah.
and then book key ISBN as a foreign key in the book author. They have the exact same name. So when Hibernate is going through saying, okay, book key ISBN equals book key ISBN, wait,
Cannot.
which one's which?
Wait.
That's what I think may be happening. However, I need to go, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Let me know if you get it figured out. I'd recommend changing the name
Yeah.
of one of your, like, book key ISBN FK for foreign key on the book author. Try that.
Okay.
But if you don't get it figured out, let me know and I can take a look at it later.
Okay. Okay. Guys, I have a question. Can I quickly ask? Is it possible to meet on Wednesday at 10 a.m.? Work the same time. So I will finish at 9 a.m. Is it okay if we will meet at 10 a.m.?
I will be unable to meet because I have work meetings that morning. However, if you two still plan to hold the meeting, I'll try to attend if I can.
Okay. Brian, how about you?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brian gets to sleep in, of course.
So, okay, let's plan that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I will let you know if it works. If not, I'll let you know. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
As for planning, let's just go with the weekly planning and have Vicky present
Yeah.
on state diagrams, I think is what it was.
I don't remember for
For next
now.
time.
I even.
Okay.
I.
No, it's not state. It's system
Huh?
level or no,
Oh,
it's not
system
state
level.
diagram. System level
System
Okay.
level. Yeah.
or
All
use
right.
case. Yeah, system
I need
level.
to.
That's the one.
Sounds good. Hopefully I'll see you guys Wednesday then at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. See
All
you.
right. Have a
Bye
good day,
bye.
guys.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.